It's Meg from Artfish 42. We're continuing our series on Meet the Artist with Coffee at the Fish. Again, we're not sponsored by this mermaid, even though we're down at the beach, but we're always having our coffee. Alan, you have your coffee. You've been finishing. You've been drinking.
I have my coffee. I'm working on it.
So Alan should be all nice and caffeinated. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to introduce you to Alan Ruskis, who is one of our glass artists. And you, Alan, you do more like fused glass. It's not, I know you do stained glass, but in the shop, you are our fused glass artist. Is that correct?
Right. Thanks, Megan. Thanks for the opportunity. This is really a great privilege. I have been doing glass for about 40 years now. I started by looking for something to frame gifts when we got married 42 years ago.
Oh my God.
And for that bridesmaids and ushers. And then I fell in love with the glass, and I spent years and years making lamps and mirrors and boxes and all that. And over the last 20 years, there's been a lot in the literature and in the magazines about hot glass and fusing and slumping. And I was of the firm belief that a real glass artist is one that followed in the footsteps of Louis Comfort Tiffany. And if you weren't cutting glass and doing lead and soldering, you were not a glass artist. And then about 5 years ago, I took one little course and made one little dish. And I've been totally obsessed with the science of melting and fusing and what you can do with glass and how to make glass do what you want it to do.
Can you just explain exactly what fusing glass is?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. So most people say, oh, so you're a glass blower. No, it's not a glass blower. Glass blowers blow and they put glass in and out of this hole in this huge furnace, and they keep playing with very, very soft glass. I take pieces of glass, chipped glass, different colored glass that I've purchased, and put them in a kiln and fire the kiln up to 1600 degrees. The glass melts, it comes out, and then I do something else with it. And I'll show you that. And part of what I do, I have a little video of working with one of the kilns. It does get very soft, and it is similar to glass blowing, but it's a very, very different art. What I've had fun doing in this little bit of confinement here is that there are times when you can take pieces of glass, put them together, and make materials that you can then use to make other works of art. And it becomes, they sort of build on each other. And sometimes when you're trying to produce things and do things, you just want to cut it and put it in the kiln and make a dish and do things like that. But I've really been able to back up, slow down, and put other things together to use to make other pieces of glass, which I think makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah, so you're taking a substance, the glass, you are creating a new
substance,
and then taking that to create the final. So how many
correct
something normally go through the kiln?
So I have some samples. So these are flow bars.
Flow bars, okay.
These are flow bars. These are made from glass, and
you've made those.
And I made these, and they come from these little metal things that go in the kiln. If you will allow me, I have some pictures that I can show you.
Let's see them.
Works.
Absolutely.
So here's this little, that metal thing that I just showed you, which is right here.
Okay.
Loaded in the kiln with layers of green and white glass. Okay. Here's another one loaded in the kiln with layers of red and amber glass. And they're side by side in the kiln. The sheet glass that I purchased is laying over these metal struts over a trough that's a triangular shape. So when the kiln is fired up to 1550 degrees, these pieces of glass will melt and fall through the struts and then land in those troughs and create these shapes.
Okay.
So what I then do is take these particular hunks of glass and take them to a tile saw and slice them up on a tile saw and then arrange them in other pieces that you can then fuse and make more pieces of work with. So those were the, you can see the orange here. So these were slices of the orange with a little bit of the French vanilla that's around it that were then the green and the orange put together with multiple
cool.
layers of glass back in the kiln.
Uh-huh.
And these are fired together, so they produce this solid piece of glass. This is how that previous one came out of the kiln. And then when you take these solid pieces of glass.
So that's actually what you have here at the shop that you were.
Correct, exactly. It's like the one I have at the shop.
These
And
are
here
great.
they are. They're upside down on those little stilts,
Uh-huh.
which then when you fire it up again, so now it's the third time in the kiln, it's fired down and it drops down through those little holes and creates these vases.
How gorgeous. So it goes.
These are the little
times.
flow bar designs, etc. And each one's different and unique. You have to cut the top off and finish it. But that's where it comes from.
So first you layer the glass onto the trough.
Right.
And it makes that bar. Slice that. So that's in the kiln the first time. Then you slice it, put it on with the other glass. It goes in the kiln. It creates these pieces. So that's in the kiln the second time. And then the time you put it in this dropout and you cut that. So that's three. So it's, so many people think, oh, you just make, I don't even know what people think, you just put it in the glass and put the glass in the kiln. So this is 3 times in the kiln, and it just creates, even though they're similar in their look, they each have their own little bit of personality.
They do, and this is glass that you won't be able to buy.
Now, can you do this with anything other than a vase?
Oh, sure. I don't have them with me, but I've had, and there were some in the store, like dishes. You can take 4 of those triangles, put them together, and put them as part of a dish or a plate. I don't think there's anything on the shelf there, Meg.
No? Okay.
No. I do have one behind me here.
Oh, beautiful. So that's that same technique.
Process, and these were different flow bars.
Uh-huh.
And they were arranged concentrically, fused into a solid piece, and then slumped into the shape of a bowl or a dish.
I think you're going to have people like wanting that one. That's gorgeous.
Well, it's right here.
We can.
Where to find me?
We will be starting our e-commerce soon, so all these things can be on e-commerce if you want.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, so that was the flow bar, and then you also, which I just love. I just been saying this is like the taffy. Well, first of all, is there anything else with the flow bar that you want?
That's pretty much it. And then people have seen the vases or in the shop, etc. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
They're beautiful of bud vases. They really are.
So here is the components that are going to start this. So it's these.
You didn't tell anyone what this is. What is this called?
This is called pulling a vitrograph kiln.
Okay.
So we're going to use a vitrograph kiln to make cane.
All right. You have pictures of the kiln as well, right?
Yep, we'll get there. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah. You know me, I love that. This is like my favorite. I love watching this. Okay.
So these are from billets, which are just solid hunks of glass. This is sort of a transparent blue. This is some crushed up clear glass. These are little sheets of white glass that are fused together in layers of 4 that are cut up into cubes. All of these pieces are then put together in a basic flower pot, okay, with some other little sprinkles of some other chips of different colored glass. The flower pot has a hole in the bottom, and the flower pot goes into the kiln.
Okay.
Which also has a hole in the bottom.
Is this your studio?
That's my studio.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous. It's so clean. How do you keep yours clean?
And here we are with the hole in the bottom of the kiln.
Uh-huh.
The kiln is up to 1500 degrees and the glass is starting to fall out. You're gonna like this part.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God, how cool is that?
Isn't that neat? That's very hot. The first piece, it looks cool, but you can't use it. It's got some of those little fibers and stuff on it. So That gets cut up and thrown away, but there are other pieces.
And that just keeps coming down?
Keeps coming down, it'll come down, but I usually pull on it, and if it's cane, I twist it. So you get a kind of a spiral pattern, sort of varying one direction and the other direction. Sometimes in the flower pot, you put solid discs of glass of different colors, and then it comes out in concentric rings. And then you cut it up, and I think we have some pieces in the shop that were made from the murini when you cut it. The cane, because of the vertical nature, longitudinal nature of the design, usually kind of slice up and put into different pieces that way.
Is that this one?
Yes. So it goes to the floor, and then you go back up, and you keep doing it and twisting it, pulling it, turning it.
This is so amazing, Alan. So you just keep turning that, and it's creating this.
You create the design, because inside the flower pot there are little chips of different colored glass, so they come out as a straight line when they melt on through. So you can see the design pieces.
Yeah. And how long are most of them when you cut them?
So it depends on, they go as close to the floor as I can. They're usually about 5 feet.
Oh, wow.
And you can, I mean, if you have more room, and that's what they look like when they're done.
Oh, fabulous. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful.
See that the blue and the swirls and all that sort of stuff.
Uh-huh.
I do have some photos. Let's see, I should be able to find them. I do have some photos of some pieces that I've made from them. Yes. But this was the same process, similar process with the cane. Okay. It's hard to see it here, but in the next photo, you'll see that it's actually, these are the circles of the cane. Oh, yeah, yeah. See those little tubes? And next to them are some pieces of black glass. And then this is little dams around it. So it's going to go in the kiln, and it will go to 1500 degrees, and it will all melt together. Mm-hmm. Now you can't just like break up any kind of glass, right? This has to be certain types of glass. Right, the glass has to be compatible. So when you're making a lamp, you can use any 2 types of glass and just solder them together. With this, because it's melting, it has to expand and contract at the same rate, or it'll all crack. So the glass has to be compatible. So I tend to buy all of it from one company, and that company makes glass that's all compatible with all other pieces of glass. So gotcha. So this was that one there, only it's fused. So instead of having those little round circles, now a flat piece that's been sandblasted a little bit. And when it's done, look how gorgeous that is. Isn't that pretty? It really is, Alan. I have it here. I just happen to have one around. Beautiful. Can we see the back of it too? Oh my God, just gorgeous. So the cane that you saw, I will be able to do similar. I plan to do a similar thing. Oh, okay, with the blues and all. Yeah, with the blues, exactly. Nice. This was with a kind of a coral. So this will all be something we'll be seeing back in the shop when we reopen. Absolutely, absolutely. If it makes it that far, unless somebody wants it before it gets to the shop. Well, you know, as I said, we will be doing e-commerce starting May 1st. Since right now looks like we will be closed until May 20th. They have extended the non-essential. So, you know, we had our original hope was to open e-commerce on April 1st, right? For our anniversary. And then we felt that we didn't want to do that to people because we know so many people are getting readjusted. So May 1st, we will be opening our e-commerce. So many of these things you're seeing from Alan will probably be on that. Anything that is coming, just so you know, anything that is coming into the shop, like
if people are making them while in quarantine. Now, Alan, you're a doctor, so we know that you are quarantining the correct way as well. It will come in, go into our back room, and it will stay there for up to 7 days, or for 7 days, not up to, for 7 days. If it is something that is non-porous, it can be Lysoled, but it will stay back there because the virus will have dissipated, right? Will have died off after 7 days on something like that.
They keep changing that, but I agree. And I think most people, when they take it into their home, are going to clean it and wash it, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll disinfect it here as well. So if you want to do, we can do a curbside pickup, or hopefully if post office is still shipping and stuff at that point, we can do, we
Great.
can get it out to you. All
Okay.
right. So that is so cool. What else? Do you have anything else to show us?
Not in my hand at the moment.
And you know what? I meant to wear, you know what? Just hold on. You can talk to them for a second. I want to get your cuff. I didn't do that.
No, I have plenty of more things. And if anybody is interested, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Treasures in Glass is the website, or through Artfish. I'd be happy to share whatever I have.
In rings, this is his gorgeous pendant. I mean, look at that. That is, so this is all using a lot of that same, yeah, Alan's actually a little rock and roll. And then
So we can talk about that on another time, because there's a process to taking enamels and pouring them, and how you make that sort of glass and cut it up, make it into jewelry. So
absolutely. Well, we will, but I just want
for the future.
Things you do, because you also do cufflinks.
Cufflinks, yes. Yeah.
You know, so it's not, you know, all these beautiful pieces aren't only just in housewares and stuff like that. So it, you know, things that you can ship easily and are great little gifts. So we love them.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You know what, Alan, do you remember when you first came to us?
Yes.
And I'm thinking of how you were creating then. And I feel that how you're expressing in your glass right now is very different than when you first came to us.
Well, it is. And to be honest with you, having only been doing this for like 5 years now, 4 or 5 years, I still feel like a novice. So I'm still learning crafts, tools. And as you go on, you know, as an artist, you start learning different techniques, and then you can put 2 of them together and 3 of them together. So what were fairly simple coasters and squares of glass or dishes have gotten more complex and intricate, which is the exciting part of it.
Exactly.
So I'm happy to do it.
And just very quickly, you've been doing logos on like plates and stuff, right?
I can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. I mean,
So it's amazing.
There's a decal process where any image can be made into a series of decals that can then be fired onto glass so that it melts directly into the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done that for Artfish. We have some photos of Charles Island,
We have the Charles Island, yeah.
some Artfish logos. Yeah, and it'd be easily able to do that for any other company. There's a lot to do and there's a lot to learn. So I'm still a baby when it comes to this, Meg.
I love it, but you're so beautiful. We are so privileged and honored to have you as part of Artfish 42. We just enjoy you. I know I enjoy you. I enjoy talking to you and I enjoy working with you. So
Well, thank you.
For many, many more times to come.
I plan to.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you, everyone. We will see you next time. Every Monday, we will be releasing another artist. So till next time, coffee at the fish. See you then.